We've spent a lot of time the last week to 10 days looking at wheat and assessing where we're at with regards to crop potential. My area is mostly from Noble and Kay County west and from Blaine and Kingfisher County north. And so as you progress further to the north and west, the crop condition gets poor and highly variable. We see really pretty good crop or yield potential in wheat and canola both. In some areas, but that tends to be further south and east within that area. The freeze impacted the later varieties or the later planted wheat more this year than it did some of the earlier wheats, which is a little bit different than we're used to. We've seen some stands that have been 100% injured with regards to freeze, and that is complicated by the dry weather conditions and some other crop management practices that are going on. So it's really case by case or field by field with regards to condition. But primarily the best yield potential more towards the center of the state in this northwest area.
For an update now on Oklahoma's wheat crop, we're joined by Mike Schulte, who's Executive Director of the Oklahoma Wheat Commission. And Mike, of course, the rain this week, a very welcome sight for farmers.
No doubt, Lyndall. I think that the producers in the western part of the state extremely happy about the moisture we have received this morning. We didn't receive that moisture in the panhandle, but they had received earlier rain. So certainly, I think producers in wheat country much happier than they have been the last few months.
And that key word there, the western part of the state, which is really needed to see a rain like this for a long time.
A long time. Southern part of the state had received some rains that have sustained us as far as wheat production going. So there is some bright parts in the state with regards to some of the wheat that we're seeing down there. But certainly the crop drought stressed in central and northern regions of the state. It's safe to say that we're not going to have the full yield potential in a lot of places. So it's going to definitely have an impact on this crop this year as well.
Another possible impact is the reports of freeze damage that are still coming in.
Yeah, because of the drought stress, we did get colder than what was anticipated last week for longer. And so we are starting to see freeze damage show up in central and northern parts of the state. I think the verdict is still out on how significant that damage is going to be, but no doubt I think that that's going to contribute to crop losses.
And then some varieties you're hearing doing better than others?
Actually, we are. In fact, in northern Oklahoma, where they've done some sampling on the Ruby Lee and Gallagher varieties that were earlier varieties, they weren't seeing the freeze damage in that. And in the later maturing varieties, such as the Endurance, they were seeing freeze damage. And so that's typically not what you see when it comes to freeze damage. You generally see it in the earlier maturing varieties. But I think that it's just safe to say that because of the extreme drought that we've had throughout the state and with lack of moisture, that they're just seeing all kinds of different things.
Okay, and of course, as we know, last year's crop, the worst since 1957, is the momentum and sort of the outlook a little better this year?
I think because of the rain this week, things are going to look better. By no means is this going to be a bumper crop for the state because of the drought stress in the central and northern regions. We lost a lot of bushels in the last couple weeks just because of the stress on the crop. But I think, we haven't had a good crop in the southern part of the state, so we're still keeping our fingers crossed for that region of Oklahoma, and maybe they'll help bail us out this year.
Okay, sounds terrific. Let's hope for them and continue that optimism. Mike, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.